In orthography and typography, lettercase is the distinction between the letters that are in larger uppercase and smaller lowercase in the written representation of certain languages. Here is a comparison of the upper and lowercase versions of each letter included in the English alphabet. Typographically, the basic difference between the majuscules and minuscules is not that the majuscules are big and minuscules small, but that the majuscules generally have the same height. The height of the minuscules varies, as some of them have parts higher or lower than the average, i.e. ascenders and descenders. In Times New Roman, for instance, B, D, F, H, K, L, T are the letters with ascenders, and G, J, P, Q are the ones with descenders. Further to this, with old-style numerals still used by some traditional classical fonts, although most have a set of alternative lining figures, 6 and 8 make up the ascender set, and 3, 4, 5, 7 and 9 the descender set. Lettercase is often prescribed by the grammar of a language or by the conventions of a particular discipline. In orthography, the uppercase is primarily reserved for special purposes, such as the first letter of a sentence or of a proper noun, which makes the lowercase the more common variant in text. In mathematics, lettercase may indicate the relationship between objects with uppercase letters often representing superior objects. Engineering design drawings are typically labeled entirely in uppercase letters, which are easier to distinguish than lowercase, especially when space restrictions require that the lettering be small. Terminology. The terms uppercase and lowercase can be written as two consecutive words, connected with a hyphen, or as a single word. These terms originated from the common layouts of the shallow drawers called typecases used to hold a movable type for letterpress printing. Traditionally, the capital letters were stored in a separate case that was located above the case that held the small letters, and the name proved easy to remember since capital letters are taller. Majuscule, for paleographers, is technically any script in which the letters have very few or very short ascenders and descenders, or none at all, by virtue of the visual impact. This made the term majuscule an apt descriptor for what much later came to be more commonly referred to as uppercase letters. Minuscule refers to lowercase letters. The word is often spelled minuscule by association with the unrelated word miniature and the prefix mini. This has traditionally been regarded as a spelling mistake, but is now so common that some dictionaries tend to accept it as a non-standard or variant spelling. Minuscule is still less likely, however, to be used in reference to lowercase letters. Bicameral script. Most Western languages use lettercases in the written form as an aid to clarity. Scripts using two separate cases are also called bicameral scripts. Many other writing systems make no distinction between majuscules and minuscules. A system called unicameral script a unicase. This includes most syllabic and other non-alphabetic scripts. The Georgian alphabet is special since it used to be bicameral, but today is mostly used in a unicameral way. If an alphabet has lettercase, all or nearly all letters have both forms. Paired forms are considered variants of the same letter. They have the same name and pronunciation and will be treated identically when sorting in alphabetical order. The glyphs of lowercase letters can resemble smaller forms of the uppercase glyphs restricted to the baseband. It can look hardly related. In scripts with a case distinction, lowercase is generally used for the majority of text. Capitals are used for capitalization and emphasis. In addition, acronyms and initialisms are often written in all caps, depending on various factors in English. Capitalization is the writing of a word with its first letter in uppercase and the remaining letters in lowercase. Capitalization rules vary by language and are often quite complex, but in most modern languages that have capitalization, the first word of every sentence is capitalized. capitalized, as are all proper nouns. Capitalization in English, in terms of the general orthographic rules independent of context, is universally standardized for formal writing. In English, capital letters are used as the first letter of a sentence, a proper noun, or a proper adjective. There are a few pairs of words of different meanings whose only difference is capitalization of the first letter. The names of the days of the week and the names of the months are also capitalized, as of the first-person pronoun I and the interjection O. Other words normally start with a lowercase letter. There are, however, situations where further capitalization may be used to give added emphasis, for example in headings and titles. In some traditional forms of poetry, capitalization has conventionally been used as a marker to indicate the beginning of a line of verse independent of any grammatical feature. Other languages vary in the use of capitals. For example, in German all nouns are capitalized, while in Romance and most other European languages the names of the days of the week, the names of the months, and adjectives of nationality, religion and so on normally begin with a lowercase letter. Exceptional letters and digraphs. The German letter SS orthographically only exists in lowercase, as it never occurs at the beginning of a word. In all caps style, SS is normally replaced by the digraph SS. The Greek uppercase letter sigma has two different lowercase forms, sigma in word final position and sigma elsewhere. In a similar manner, the Latin uppercase letter S used to have two different lowercase forms, S in word final position and elsewhere. The latter form, called the long S, fell out of general use before the middle of the 19th century, except for the countries that continue to use black-letter typefaces such as Fracta. When black-letter type fell out of general use in the mid-20th century, even those countries dropped the long S. The Cyrillic letter usually has only a capital form, which is also used in lowercase x. Unlike most Latin script languages, which link the dotless uppercase I with the dotted lowercase I, Turkish has both the dotted and dotless I in upper and lower case. Each of the two pairs represent a distinctive phoneme. In some languages, specific digraphs may be regarded as a single letter. For example, in Slavic languages whose orthography is coordinated for the Cyrillic and Latin script, the Latin digraphs and are each regarded as a single letter, but even when capitalized, the second part resembles a lowercase letter. Only in all caps style should both parts resemble a capital letter. In Dutch, the digraph ij is capitalized as a single entity. In English, a name beginning with ff may be written in lowercase, for example in a P.G. Wodehouse story of Slice of Life. Wilfred Mulliner must circumvent the nasty Sir Jasper Finch Fairaumeer to reach his love Angela. Related phenomena. Similar orthographic and graphostylistic conventions are used for emphasis of following language-specific rules, including font effects such as italic type or oblique type, boldface, and choice of serif versus sans serif. Typographical conventions in mathematical formulae include the use of Greek letters and the use of Latin letters with special formatting such as blackboard bold and black letter. Letters of the Arabic alphabet and some Jamo of the Korean Hangul have different forms for initial or final placement, but these rules are strict and the different forms cannot be used for emphasis. In Georgian, some authors use isolated letters from the ancient Asomtavruli alphabet within a text otherwise written in the modern Medrali in a fashion that is reminiscent of the usage of uppercase letters in the Latin, Greek, and Cyrillic alphabets. In the Japanese writing system, an author has the option of switching between kanji, hiragana, katakana, and romaji. In particular, every hiragana character has an equivalent katakana character, and vice versa. Because this resembles the Latin alphabet's two cases, Romanized Japanese sometimes uses lowercase letters to represent words that would be written in hiragana, and uppercase letters to represent words that would be written in katakana. Some kana syllabograms can be written in smaller type when they modify or combine with the preceding sign. Stylistic or specialized usage. Case styles in English. A variety of case styles are used in various circumstances. Sentence case. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. The standard case used in English prose. Only the first character is capitalized, except for proper nouns and other words which are generally capitalized by a more specific rule, generally equivalent to the baseline universal standard of formal English orthography mentioned above. Title case. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Or, the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Also known as headline style and capital case. First character in all words capitalized, except for certain subsets defined by rules that are not universally standardized. The standardization is only at the level of house styles and individual style manuals. Start case. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. A simplified variant of title case. Start case capitalizes all words, including articles, prepositions, and conjunctions. All caps. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Capital letters only. This style can be used in headings and special situations, such as for typographical emphasis in text made on a typewriter. With the advent of the Internet, all caps is more often used for emphasis. However, it is considered poor etiquette by some to type in all capitals, and said to be tantamount to shouting. Long spans of Latin alphabet text in all uppercase are harder to read because of the absence of the ascenders and descenders found in lowercase letters, which can aid recognition. Small caps. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Capital letters at the size of a lowercase x. Slightly larger small caps can be used in a mixed case fashion, used for acronyms, names, mathematical entities, computer commands in printed text, business or personal printed stationery letterheads, and other situations where a given phrase needs to be distinguished from the main text. All lowercase. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. No capital letters. This style is sometimes used for artistic effect, such as in poetry, also commonly seen in computer commands, and in SMS language, avoiding the shift key to type more quickly. Headings and publication titles. In English language publications, varying conventions are used for capitalizing words in publication titles and headlines, including chapter and section headings. The rules differ substantially between individual house styles. The convention followed by many British publishers and U.S. newspapers is to use sentence-style capitalization in headlines, where capitalization follows the same rules that apply for sentences. This convention is usually called sentence case. It may also be applied to publication titles, especially in bibliographic references and library catalogs. Examples of global publishers whose English language house styles prescribe sentence case titles and headings include the International Organization for Standardization. As regards publication titles, it is, however, a common typographic practice among both British and U.S. publishers to capitalize significant words. This family of typographic conventions is usually called title case. For example, Ritter's Oxford Manual of Style suggests capitalizing the first word in all nouns, pronouns, adjectives, verbs and adverbs, but generally not articles, conjunctions and short prepositions. This is an old form of emphasis, similar to the more modern practice of using a larger boldface font for titles. The rules for which words to capitalize are not based on any grammatically inherent correct-incorrect distinction and are not universally standardized. They are arbitrary and differ between style guides, although in most styles they tend to follow a few strong conventions, as follows. Most styles capitalize all words except for short closed-class words, but the first word and last word are also capped, regardless of part of speech. Many styles capitalize longer prepositions such as between or throughout, but not shorter ones such as for or with. Among such styles, 4 or more letters, or more than 4 letters, are the typical threshold rules. A few styles capitalize all words in title case, which has the advantage of being easy to implement and hard to get wrong. Because of this rule's simplicity, software case folding routines can handle 95% more of the editing, especially if they are programmed for desired exceptions. As for whether hyphenated words are capitalized not only at the beginning but also after the hyphen, there is no universal standard. Variation occurs in the wild and among house styles. Traditional copyediting makes a distinction between temporary compounds, in which every word is capped, and permanent compounds, which are terms that, although compound and hyphenated US are well established that dictionaries enter them as headwords. Title case is widely used in many English-language publications, especially in the United States. However, its conventions are sometimes not followed strictly, especially in informal writing. In creative typography, such as music record covers and other artistic material, all styles are commonly encountered, including all lowercase letters and special case styles, such as studly caps. For example, in video game word marks it is not uncommon to use stylized uppercase letters at the beginning and end of a title, with the intermediate letters in small caps or lowercase. Multi-word proper nouns, single-word proper nouns are capitalized in formal written English, unless the name is intentionally stylized to break this rule. Multi-word proper nouns include names of organizations, publications, and people. Often the rules for title case are applied to these names, so that non-initial articles, conjunctions, and short prepositions are lowercase, and all other words are uppercase. For example, the short preposition of and the article the are lowercase in steering committee of the finance department. Usually only capitalized words are used to form an acronym variant of the name, though there is some variation in this. With personal names, this practice can vary, but is not limited to English names. Examples include the English names Tamar of Georgia and Catherine the Great Van, and Der in Dutch names, de, los, and y in Spanish names, de or d in French names, and ibn in Arabic names. Some surname prefixes also affect the capitalization of the following internal letter, for example, Mac in Celtic names, and al in Arabic names. Special case styles. Some case styles are not used in standard English, but are common in computer programming, product branding, or other specialized fields. Camel case. The quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Spaces and punctuation are removed and the first letter of each word is capitalized. If this includes the first letter of the first word, the case is sometimes called upper camel case, Pascal case, or bumpy case. When otherwise the first letter of the first word is lowercase, the case is usually known as camel case and sometimes as lower camel case. This is the format that has become popular in the branding of information technology products. snake underscore case, the underscore quick underscore brown underscore fox underscore jumps underscore over underscore the underscore lazy underscore dog. Punctuation is removed and spaces are replaced by single underscores. Normally the letters share the same case, but the case can be mixed. When all uppercase, it may be referred to as screaming underscore snake underscore case, kebab case, e.g., the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog, as per snake underscore case above, except hyphens rather than underscores are used to replace spaces. If every word is capitalized, the style is known as train case. Studley caps, e.g., the quick brown fox jumps over the lazy dog. Mixed case with no semantic or syntactic significance to the use of the capitals. Sometimes only vowels are uppercase, at other times upper and lower case are alternated, but often it is just random. The name comes from the sarcastic or ironic implication that it was used in an attempt by the writer to convey their own coolness. Metric system. In the International System of Units, a letter usually has a different meaning in upper and lower case when used as a unit symbol. By default, a unit symbol is written in lower case, but if the name of the unit is derived from a proper noun, the first letter of the symbol is written in uppercase. 1s when used for the base unit of time, 1s when used for the unit of electric conductance and admittance. 1-civert, used for the unit of ionizing radiation dose. For clarity, the symbol for liter can optionally be written in uppercase even though the name is not derived from a proper noun. 1L, the original form, where 1 and L look rather alike. 1L, the optional form, where 1 and capital L look different. The letter case of a prefix symbol is defined independently of the unit symbol it is attached to. Lowercase is used for all submultiple prefix symbols and the small multiple prefix symbols up to k, whereas uppercase is used for larger multipliers. 1 millisecond, a small measure of time. 1 megasecond, a large measure of time. 1 millisiemens, a small measure of electric conductance. 1 megasiemens, a large measure of electric conductance. 1 millimeter, a small measure of length. 1 megameter, a large measure of length. Case folding. Case-insensitive operations are sometimes said to fold case, for the idea of folding the character code tables so that upper and lower case letters coincide. The conversion of letter case in a string is common practice in computer applications, for instance to make case-insensitive comparisons. Many high-level programming languages provide simple methods for case folding, at least for the ASCII character set. Methods in word processing. Most modern word processors provide automated case folding with a simple click or keystroke. For example, in Microsoft Office Word, there is a dialog box for toggling the selected text through uppercase, then lowercase, then title case. The keystroke Shift plus F3 does the same thing. Methods in programming. In some forms of BASIC there are two methods for case folding, C and C++, as well as any C-like language that conforms to its standard library. Provide these functions in the file ctype. Case folding is different with different character sets. In ASCII or ABCDIC, case can be folded in the following way. In C, this only works because the letters of upper and lower cases are spaced out equally. In ASCII they're consecutive, whereas with ABCDIC they are not. Nonetheless, the uppercase letters are arranged in the same pattern and with the same gaps as of the lowercase letters, so the technique still works. Some computer programming languages offer facilities for converting text to a form in which all words are first letter capitalized. size. Visual Basic calls this proper case, Python calls it title case. This differs from usual title casing conventions, such as the English convention in which minor words are not capitalized. Unicode case folding and script identification. Unicode defines case folding through the three case mapping properties of each character: uppercase, lowercase and title case. These properties relate all characters in scripts with differing cases to the other case variants of the character. As briefly discussed in Unicode Technical Note number 26, in terms of implementation issues, any attempt at a unification of Latin, Greek, and Cyrillic would wreak havoc, make casing operations an unholy mess, in effect making all casing operations context sensitive. In other words, while the shapes of letters like A, B, E, H, K, M, O, P, T, X, Y and so on are shared between the Latin, Greek, and Cyrillic alphabets, it would still be problematic for a multilingual character set or a font to provide only a single code point for, say, uppercase letter B, as this would make it quite difficult for a word processor to change that single uppercase letter to one of the three different choices for the lowercase letter B, beta, or, without letter case A, unified European alphabet, such as AB, CD, delta, epsilon, Z, F, Phi, G, H, I, J, Z, with an appropriate subset for each language, is feasible, but considering letter case, it becomes very clear that these alphabets are rather distinct sets of symbols.